Wow. Okay. So this is fascinating. Can you hear me? All right. So here's what's happening. Welcome to Mindset Mondays with DTK. It looks like the camera, although it was ready to go when we started the feed, completely crapped out. And for some reason, I can't get video to come on. So guess what? You don't get to see me this week. You just get to hear the quote and my fabulous ramblings. So here, do me a favor. As always, let me know where you're joining in from. And officially, welcome to Mindset Mondays with DTK. This is going to be episode, regardless of the lack of video, this is going to be episode 183 of an ongoing series of live broadcasts designed for folk who have figured out that the best way to get better at doing what they do is to get better at being who they be, to clear away their clutter, to remove everything that's not them, not true, not real. So clearly y'all can hear me. Whoa, this is the strangest thing. Literally, I could see the video in preview right up until the time that I pressed go live, and then it disappeared. So you don't get to see my fabulousness. But here's what's awesome about today. A dear friend of mine, Dr. Erin Baker, they are in the process of writing a book, and I I I asked Erin if I could use a quote from their new, as of yet unpublished book. And what came up for me when they gave me the quote was just, the opportunity, the call, the need, the craving of the universe for us to be unreasonable. And as I look back on my journey, my 30-year run as an entrepreneur, besides feeling really, really old, what I love most is how much of that time I was completely and utterly clueless. And that led to the success that I've had. That has allowed me to be successful. I never let the knowledge of how things are supposed to work or how things are done or how we do things to get in my way. I had unrealistic expectations. I had completely unreasonable goals, and I had impossible timelines because I had no idea. I was not encumbered by knowledge of the way things were supposed to go. But don't get me wrong, I wasn't aware of how clueless I was. I thought I was brilliant. But here's the thing, no innovation ever started with being realistic or reasonable or sticking to what was possible. It's only now through the lens looking back that I realize how unintentionally brilliant I was being by, as the book Rookie Smarts talks about, coming in devoid of tether to construct. Erin's mic drop quote came from a chapter they've written called The Land of Possibility. And it's early in the book. It's formative to the content of their soon to be published book, 10 Essentials, Turn Your Venture into an adventure. As entrepreneurs, as any human being seeking to leave this world better than they found it, the more frequently we visit and the longer we can reside in that land of possibility, that sumptuous, fertile ground, the more successful we will be. Land of possibility is rich in curiosity, creativity, and courage. And as Erin talks about in their book, those are the three ingredients that are essential building blocks of innovation. And they're the antidote to certainty, to constraint, and to conformity. I actually can't wait to read the book. I'm excited to see what they come up with. Because up until now, my journey had been a 3-decade-long romp, a bumpy and glorious roller coaster ride. Now, I wouldn't exchange a moment of my figuring it out and making it up as I went along, even for a moment of knowing what the future looks like. Not one. And I'll give you a little aside here. There was a relatively terrible movie with Gwyneth Paltrow and Huey Lewis called Sliding Doors. Or it was definitely Gwyneth Paltrow. I'm not sure who the co-star was. And in it, we see Gwyneth Paltrow's life in two threads. One where she makes the subway, she gets into the subway before the doors close and makes it home early and interrupts her boyfriend, her fiance sleeping with another woman, and her life unravels from there. And in the other thread, she misses the subway. The doors close before she gets in. She doesn't catch the guy, and her life rolls on another path. And here's the thing. Here's what I know. I've had a million sliding door moments, some of them really, really cringeworthy, and lots of ways that I used to wish things had turned out differently. And I realize if even one of those sliding door moments had gone differently, my world would be completely different. The children my wife and I have, my marriage wouldn't be my marriage. The children we have wouldn't be my children. The life I'm living and the way I'm serving wouldn't be. So no, I wouldn't change a minute of that lunatic speed fest for a different outcome for a whole host of reasons. And I don't anticipate that changing. Why? Man, the life that I have created, I've done so out of whole cloth, without a map, without a clue, without a guide, and without caring about what conventions existed. And the outcome thus far has exceeded what I could have created merely by operating within the confines or conventions or just merely refining what already existed. I look back at Apple, love them, hate them, love Steve Jobs, hate him, doesn't matter. With the iPhone, forget all the other products, just with the iPhone alone now 12 years ago, Apple created something we didn't know we couldn't live without. That was pure innovation. Most of the improvements to the iPhone have been refinements or extensions. There hasn't really been anything innovative about it. The camera's gotten better. The shape has gotten sleeker, blah, blah, blah. At the beginning, when the iPhone was imagined, the creation of that, what has become an ecosystem, required being unrealistic and unreasonable and doing the impossible. That was innovation. And that's what we have the opportunity to play with. Here's the question. What does unreasonable look like in your world? What would it look like to be unreasonable? And what could come from it? What does unreasonable look like in your world? Hmm. Like Tessie was saying, not aware of how clueless, what freedom that leads to great innovation. And that's true. When, when you don't know what you don't know, it's easier to create something new. You're not encumbered by a map. You're not encumbered by constraints and constructs and conventions. And that is a fabulously freeing place to live and operate from. Would that we could all do that more. It's interesting, and I look at how do I recreate that now? How do I get into a place of being unreasonable again and being unrealistic and doing the impossible? I'm 13 years into my career as a professional coach. It's hard to imagine being clueless again because I've been doing it so long, so deeply, so broadly. And yet, where can I look at freeing myself from constraint and convention and certainty? Mark Twain said, it's not what we don't know that's the problem, it's what we're certain that we do know. Now, I'm paraphrasing, and I'm not even sure if that was originally his. But it's not what we don't know that's the problem. It's what we know for certain that we know. Mm. So the place to play this week, and oh my God, the place to play all the time, is what does it look like to be unrealistic and unreasonable and to do the impossible in your world? What does that free you up and make possible? Where are you letting certainty and constraint and convention stand in your way? So we've just had a full moon, a blue moon, and not only just a blue moon, which is normally the second full moon in a cycle, in a month. It is the third full moon in a solstice to solstice season of 4 full moons, which happens literally every 19 years. So this blue moon last night was a special one, and it marks ending of a period. It is the end of it's speeding us towards the end of a season, and it's time for radical change. It's a time for clearing the clutter. It's a time for clearing the decks, and it's an opportunity to be unrealistic and unreasonable in what we create next. And it's an invitation. So I offer, what does unreasonable look like in your world? Come to facebook.com/group/mindset Mondays. Share your insights there, or message me directly or email me directly. I would love to have a conversation with you about what unreasonable and unrealistic and doing the impossible look like in your world. That's an exciting place to play from. So enjoy your week, and I'm sure we'll have this video thing sussed out by next week. Be well.